remember last year, around this time, I was still building the van out. And that was sort of my main focus. I did nothing else. I wasn't even really climbing then. And then it finished. Then suddenly I was doing nothing but climbing and running around having the time of my life. One of the reasons I probably place such a high value on my experience last year is the juxtaposition between how it started in these like winter, and now we're just getting into spring months. I kind of feel the same thing right now. It's just not new. I had torn out the rear half of the interior of my van, and I'm redoing it. Installing a furnace, so I have like heat on a thermostat. I can run off propane, so I don't need the engine running. And I'm redoing my bed, so I can really like spread out a little bit more, make it a little bit bigger. And then just the way I'm doing my storage, I'll gain a little bit more storage space. So yeah, largely my weekends right now have been dictated by working on that thing. Fortunately, I think I'm gonna be, I'm probably finished with it now, at least redoing the interior. I gotta clean it up, do a couple small little like trim stuff, aesthetic stuff, and it should be good to go. I can start living it again and cut out this commute, which is grinding. Other thing I've been up to is, well, trying to figure out how do I spend 4 days, 5 days on a wall. And that's been an interesting experience. If you've been following my Patreon related content, you'll know that Gunk Climber and myself built a wall to practice on, and we've been working out like hauling techniques, what we need for that, aiding techniques, what's required for that, and because of this, we can start to work out the gear that we have and don't have, and adjustments that we need to make. Yesterday, in fact, we were over at the wall, and we were figuring out water, essentially. Gun climber, Eric is his name, he got this 15-gallon reservoir, which is a giant like bag, essentially. And after filling that thing, getting it in the haul bag, doing a little hauling, I'm not sure it's gonna work, and he's sort of in agreement. And now we're kind of back to like 2-liter bottles, which the only hurdle with that is neither him or myself drink soda, so where do you get 2-liter bottles? I'm sure we can manage that, but now as I sit here and chew on it, I guess originally we were thinking 10 gallons total, so 5 gallons a person, and is that too much? Is that enough? Because I mean, amongst 2-liter bottles, boy, 10 gallons is a lot of water to be dragging up. And honestly, in my experience, spending like maybe 12+ hour climbing days, 2 liters of water, I've gotten away with 2 liters of water multiple times. Now, can I do that, 4 days in a row, 5 days in a row? I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. And it might just be a situation where we make a decision and go with it. The other thing I've been trying to figure out is cameras and recording this. It's a lot more complicated than it might initially seem. I mean, this isn't an issue of just sort of carry a GoPro up this thing and turn it on when you're climbing. Batteries, storage, and the type of footage that we're even producing. So prior to this year, I have been I've now come to the conclusion, or I now feel that 720p is just not enough anymore. You know, I didn't really think it was enough beforehand, but the problem is when you do a 12-hour climbing day or doing, you know, 12 pitches, it's 720. I mean, I'm limited by the storage space that I can store in the camera, and I'm also limited by the battery life of the camera itself. So I bought a Session last year. I think I made that announcement in January, as that was the first purchase using funds coming from the channel. Only took it 6 years, something else, to do that, but and I like the Session. It's a great camera for just, you know, point and shoot on a head. It's a low profile, it's not very heavy. The Session has two limitations. The first is its battery life. So I think a normal Hero, like a Hero 6, Hero 7, they have replaceable batteries, and each of those batteries, I might be wrong, is 2,700 milliamps. I'm sorry, twice the 2,700 milliamp hour capacity. The Session does not have a replaceable battery. It's an internal battery, and it's 1,000 milliamp hours. I have an extremely good gauge on the life I can get out of that camera, and with the 1,000 milliamp hour battery by itself, it's not enough. It's not enough to do something like the nose. The other problem with the Session is it doesn't have an external microphone port on the side of it, which audio is, I place a lot of value on audio in these videos, and I've come to the conclusion that I want to start using external microphones and not the internal microphone, because there's some inherent issues with the internal microphone on GoPros. For the most part, they work fine, but some other things I'd like to get around. That's not really as important as the battery life thing and having replaceable batteries. So I'm going to be talking about the camera setup here in a different video series, so I don't want to go too in depth with it. But the gist of it is looking at getting a different camera, getting another GoPro. Hooray, there's another $500 down the drain. The other thought too is the GoPro Fusion. So if any of you follow Gum Climber's channel, he has gotten one of these and has absolutely fallen in love with it. And for anyone that doesn't know what it is, it records video in 360 degrees. So you can watch this video with a VR setup or Google goggles, which is like the little box thing you make for your phone, and sit there and like look around, and you can just sit there and look around while he's climbing. You know, I don't know, maybe I'm just biased, very well could be. I've watched so much footage, my own footage, what other people do of the same style. I've gotten very used to GoPro helmet footage. Watching the GoPro Fusion footage is just very strange to me. And certainly in the way he is mounting it, it has, there's a couple problems that I think we can work it out. That said, in all fairness, anyone that I have shown this stuff to, especially with the VR setup, has been blown away by it. And it certainly has me thinking whether it's a worthwhile investment to get one. We are going to take that thing up the nose, but just again, because of like space and battery life conditions, it's probably only going to be used for recording select pitches, certain footage. and we were working out which ones we're going to do. Anyway, but I've been chewing on this, whether it's worth my time, worth my money to get one of these things. They're kind of cumbersome to climb with too, but you know, I'll figure that out. Yeah, largely I've been just spending a lot of my time either working out that, building the van, and then just hitting the gym really hard, because while I have the opportunity to, while one's accessible to me, why not? Because I'm going to be getting a whole lot of rock, you know, in just a little bit more than a month right now, and then back on the road. Super excited, but I'm just trying to grind it out till then. So I apologize if I don't start posting a lot in the next month or so. It's largely due going back to the previously recording in lower resolutions. Well, I've switched to uploading everything in 1080p, and that means that anything I record in 720p, I have to increase or translate to increase the resolution on, and that increases my rendering time. So right now, producing one video is probably north of I don't know, 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours to do so. It takes a good bit of time, and plus I've just gotten, you know, very critical of the way the edits come out, but that's just me. Anyway, but I figured I'd offer an update on like what I've been doing and what we've been working at. Bought a shit ton of gear. Bought too much gear. I now have like 5 harnesses and getting rid of that. I've actually started parting out like some of my gear, or selling off some of my gear that I, you know, carry around all last year and never used, and so hopefully that can help fund future endeavors. Anyway, take care. I will be getting stuff regularly posted soon enough, as soon as I settle into a little more comfortable situation where I'm not commuting, you know, 3 or 4 hours a day.